Manny Pacquiao drops a bombshell prediction on Spence versus Crawford. Alright, y'all. So, the big homie, the Filipino boxing legend, Manny Pacman Pacquiao, gave his prediction on what he feels like would be the outcome of Spence versus Crawford. Not only that, he gave some more insight into his future in the sport of boxing and what his intentions are when it comes to the winner of that fight. So he's made it a little bit more clear, because when I first heard I believe it was ES News had asked him first, was the first one I saw that asked him what he plans on doing as far as the Spence versus Crawford fight. And he basically, another reporter asked him the same question. Basically, he kind of answered it the same way, but he clarified it a little bit more when the second reporter asked him. And basically what he said was, definitely, I want to prove that I can still fight, that I'm still one of the best, and we have to see who wins the fight. So to me, that means he's definitely willing to take on either guy. It definitely means that I think he wants to return to the sport. I think he wants to make another run at it. But I think we might have to wait until these guys work it out, which is could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I would love to see Pacquiao get back in the ring, even if it's not against Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. But from basically what I heard, he wants those two guys. And it's crazy, but it shouldn't be, because before the whole Ugas controversy popped off, he had an opportunity to fight Ugas. He could have set that fight up, I think, and wouldn't have gotten stripped. And I think he actually petitioned for the fight, but there was so much stuff going on in the world. I don't know how the fight wasn't put together or what was going on. It might have been because, Pacquiao's such a superstar, and at the time they could have put the fight on, there was no live audience. So, which means there's no gate to pay Pacquiao. So, that's one of the reasons I felt like PBC kind of, for lack of a better word, set him up. I know, I don't want to make it seem like they purposely did it, but a lot of people were saying Manny Pacquiao was in the way then, and it kind of seemed like instead of them just setting the Ugas up as a mandatory, they kind of waited Pacquiao out and then stripped him and then threw him in there with Ugas anyway instead of Spence, based off the eye injury. And we all know the outcome of that. So, before the Ugas incident even happened anyway, that's what Pacquiao was saying. He was preaching that he wanted either Crawford or Spence, and he wanted, one of those two guys to be his last fight. He wanted to see if he could be a champion again. And it was those two names that were being brought up. He wasn't really mentioning anybody else. It was Spence or Crawford. And a lot of people were saying that there was no way he would take on. And then the Spence fight got announced, and we all know the story after that. But anyway, the big homie clarified what he meant when ES News had asked him. And so I think we can lay our hat on, if Manny Pacquiao has enough success in the DKO fight, you'll definitely see him back in the boxing ring, and it's definitely going to be potentially versus Spence or Crawford. Now let's get to his bombshell prediction. He basically said that he sees Terence Crawford as the better southpaw. Interesting, very interesting. Now, I think everybody believes that Crawford has more skill sets as a boxer than Errol Spence, but I'm basing my victory for Spence off of his size, his ability to throw the jab, and his the way he uses the ring. To me, Pacquiao, I think, sees it from a different lens. He is a southpaw. He's a professional fighter. And he's seen Terence Crawford up close when he was younger, so he knows a lot of what Crawford brings to the table. Perhaps they sparred in the past. Neither one of them have ever mentioned that, so I'm not saying that's true. But obviously there's some insight that he has about Terence Crawford that I'm not seeing as a boxing fan. Pacquiao predicts that Terence Crawford is the better southpaw. When asked who would win the fight, he said, and who would win, and if they would win by knockout, he said, probably not. It will more than likely be a 12-round decision, which is interesting because I can agree that Terence Crawford's probably the better southpaw because he has more boxing skills. So I think Manny Pacquiao was kind of answering the question as an obvious. If everybody thinks this guy has better boxing skills than Errol Spence, then obviously he would be the better southpaw. So I think that was Manny Pacquiao's reasoning for answering that way. But he threw a monkey wrench in there when he said, hey, it'll be a 12-round decision, because that's basically saying it's a 50-50 fight. You know, you can't predict it. You know, either one of those guys can win. They both bring amazing skill sets to the table. They're just different, and they do it in different ways. But they're almost perfection at what they do, you know, almost perfection at what they do. And then you have the question of, okay, so which one of those guys does he fight and win? You know, I'm hoping, and this is a scenario I'm hoping for. If they can't get the Crawford fight done, I'm hoping Errol Spence says, you know, screw it, I'm going to go fight Manny Pacquiao. There's a big bag of money out there waiting for me for that Pacquiao fight. He's making a comeback. Can't get Crawford to sign off yet. What that Pacquiao fight is going to do for me is make me a global superstar. He's touched other parts of the world to where Terence Crawford really hasn't yet. You know, he's been to England to fight Kell Brook. He's fought over here and there. So, you know, I think more people know Errol Spence because of that than Terence Crawford. Or would Terence Crawford be, if they couldn't get a sign, be the first to try to jump on that fight and say, hey, well, you know, I missed my first opportunity to fight Pacquiao. I'm not going to miss this opportunity. It's going to be interesting. I would hope if they can't get it done, it plays out like that. But if not, then that means hopefully that they got it done, and Pacquiao will take on the winner of that fight for undisputed. And I think that's what his game plan is. Like, hey, I want to be able to fight as the oldest man to ever fight for an undisputed title and perhaps win, man. The big homie Manny Pacquiao, man, never one to disappoint the fans, always looking to challenge himself. Even at 43 years of age, the man wants the best competition, and you can't do nothing but tip your hat and commend him for that. It's your boy, Cardinal, a Bud, a Crawford, a E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're more than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. And we are...
I ain't even gotta do too much talking, cause I know what's gonna happen come Saturday.
Yeah. Is you ready for me? 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 Nigga. Spotless. Check it.